Jaclyn Rice Nelson is with us, co-founder and CEO of Tribe AI, provides AI services for leading enterprises. And I have a feeling a lot of them are rushing to understand how they can use this cheap and innovative AI model.
Absolutely. First, thrilled to be here. I think this 2025 is the year for enterprises to get ROI from their AI efforts. And the ROI calculation just changed dramatically. So I think that kind of is the headline for businesses, which is use cases that weren't possible just a few weeks ago or even last week are now possible. And I think we're about to see an explosion of AI experimentation and also value delivery to organizations and enterprises alike.
Have any of those organizations been reticent to use it simply because of where it was born in China?
It's a great question. I actually had the same question and dove into this myself. And I think it all comes down to how you use these models. So there are lots of ways to be using Llama or open source models today in ways that have lots of guardrails that are set up to be more secure and can be run locally on your own environment. In many ways, actually, it's almost easier with open source than it is with closed source models. And so everything comes down to the implementations of these models. I think today a lot of businesses have these same questions, but that's in many ways why they're sort of coming to Tribe and trying to help navigate the landscape across all of these different models, what are best to use and when and for what types of use cases and how to set it up in the optimal ways.
Jaclyn, one of the key questions that's come up in relation to DeepSeek is the one on spending. How is that factoring into the way you are guiding people through the AI landscape now? Is it a different message that you're having to deliver about efficiency and about bringing a product to market for a lot less?
So the short answer is yes. I think that I compare it to a highway. We have just added a lane or multiple lanes to the highway. When you do that, the traffic does not go down. Actually, it only increases. And that's because driving and going on road trips gets more attractive. The same is true right now for AI. So I think we're about to see really an explosion of activity. And that's sort of across companies, across enterprises, within the large, and to your point on efficiency and sort of product innovation, I think we're going to see proliferation across these use cases. And then that doesn't even include the large hyperscalers who are still on this quest for AGI. And nothing changes there. I don't think anyone is taking their foot off the gas. And if anything, competition has just increased dramatically.
And the open source model, is this something that is feasible to be scaled at large enterprises, big corporations, that also may have security considerations and other factors to bring in that might make them question whether open source is the right choice for them?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of considerations that go into what is the right model selection. And so I think it's really clear that we have entered an era, and actually I've always thought we were in this era, which is that we are in a multi-model world. Businesses need to be able to build to swap between models seamlessly, to optimize for performance, for latency, for accuracy, and for cost. And what that means is they also need the guardrails, the security, the infrastructure to set those things up in proper ways. They also need the evals, the evaluation frameworks, to actually be able to compare and contrast across models so they know what models to use. And so I think while there might be some hesitance, we have done lots of development on closed source models and lots of development on open source models. And the considerations still come down to what is that company trying to achieve and what are the things we're optimizing for. That's what determines the model. So please go ahead.
Well, no, I'm interested in that because I want to go back to sort of the Jevons paradox piece that, the more AI innovation there is, ultimately the more people are on those highways, the more innovation, but also the same amount of compute. Can you speak a bit to like the inferencing part of this? Because that seems to be the silver lining that indeed NVIDIA is trying to see from this. Look, you're still going to need our GPUs, just not for training, it's for inference.
I think that's fair. Look, I think we have not cracked the code on the hardware that's needed. Like, it's clear that compute is still needed at really high levels. There's no way that we have, even with these new DeepSeek models, we haven't found the answers yet, right? We're not stopping. And I think that that's the bull case for how and why you're going to see continued investment here, is that we are in a continuous innovation cycle. And ultimately, I think that drives utilization. And I think think the question is for what? And then the other piece is that ultimately consumers are the biggest winners here. And I think that is the most exciting story. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of China versus U.S. dynamics. I think the reality is that competition is good. And what I'm hearing from the U.S. companies is, nothing has kind of, the U.S. large AI companies, nothing has kind of blown their socks off, right? This is innovation they at least, feel that they already have. And the difference is that there has been an optimization for open source and an optimization for cost in ways that they have not done. And so I think we're about to see a lot of fast follow. And Sam Altman signaled as much last night.
Yeah, he said we're going to drop models faster. Is he going to drop the cost? Because that must be something that puts off your clients.
Definitely going to drop the cost. And I actually think we are likely to see a cost curve decrease that's dramatic from them, but also a latency decrease. And I think that that's how they're going to play the game, is to try to now one-up completely on both dimensions.